Okay. Here we go.
Broadcasting live from sunny California, it's 10 Minutes in Tinsel Town with Ms. Meliz, a.k.a. Melissa Reyes. And now, from the left corner, your host, Melissa Reyes.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Tinsel Town tonight with Ms. Meliz. That's me. And tonight I have a wonderful guest I've been really looking forward to meeting with, Alaia Williams. And she's right here. And Alaia is a friend of mine that we met a couple of times with some blogging stuff and SoCal Lady bloggers. And then I was really happy to see her on Blab. And we've been talking about doing this. So now she has a new book planner that she just launched on Amazon. And I saw that and I said, oh, you've got to come and be on the show and tell me all about it. So I'd like to welcome Alaia to Tinsel Town tonight. Thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me. I'm so excited. And yes, we've known each other for a bit, and I love the intro music to your show. It always gets me like in a good mood.
It's my dream, baby. It was my dream. And I just, like a lot of things here in the live streaming world, people are so willing to help and to get involved with what you're doing. And somebody gave that to me. They produced it and, and gave it to me. So it was so nice. There's actually 2 or 3 versions and a video version too. But so it's kind of neat that, that I have that.
Cool.
So.
Very cool.
Yeah. And then the other day on Podcast World, I think is the group I was in, somebody offered to do my editing for me for through Fiverr. So
that's
for
awesome.
$5. Yeah.
That's really good.
So can turn this into a 10-minute iTunes and nicely done, better than I could do for $5. Totally worth it.
Yeah. Yeah. So. That's very cool. People can be very generous in the online space when you find like the right communities and groups of people. I love it.
Yeah, totally. So tell me about what you're doing right now, and let's go from there. Tell me what you're up to right now. What's the hot project for Alaia?
Oh my goodness. Well, like you mentioned, I created a planner recently, and I created it a few months ago. I've been super excited about it. But as you mentioned, I just put it on Amazon, which got me to a whole other level of geeky excitedness because, I shop on Amazon for almost everything. So it's just kind of cool and fun to go on Amazon and see one of your products there. So I'm really excited about that Amazon launch and really excited about the planner. And it's just so great to hear feedback from people. When you put out a product or a service, you don't always get feedback from every single person. So when you do get feedback, you really appreciate it. So I love when people send me pictures of how they're using the planner, or they talk about how it was exactly what they were looking for. That always feels really good and exciting. So I'm really glad that I birthed that project finally last year.
That's awesome. So what made you decide to do a planner?
I decided to do a planner because I am an organizer and someone who helps people get organized, get their projects out and done, that sort of thing. And, I've been fortunate in my entrepreneurial career to have really supportive, great people around me. And there have been particular people who have kind of been pushing me to create some kind of product and just diversify income streams and that sort of thing. And I think back when I was organizing homes and offices, it was, make your own like file folder labels and office supply type things. But as my business transitioned and I was super geeked out about planners and I would talk about how I loved a certain planner, but it didn't have a feature I liked and that sort of thing, people would say, well, why don't you make your own planner? And finally this year, last year, I can't believe it's 2016 already. Finally in the summer, I went ahead and did it, and I'm so happy I did because it's been a great experience to launch a product like that and learn how to launch a product and learn how to sell a product, because I've only ever worked on selling my own services. and selling, selling products is similar and a whole other ball game at the same time.
I was going to ask you if you're doing all of the promotion and marketing of it yourself.
For now, I am. It was very quiet at first, I think, because I was nervous about putting things out there and selling the product. But then, a couple of things happened. One, as the year progressed and it got closer to the time that people tend to start looking for planners, and my traffic started going up because of blog posts I'd written about planners, I started to push more. And I did my first Facebook ad campaign and wrote about it more in newsletters and shared it more on social and made little videos for the planner page. So I really upped my game. And of course, there's always more that could be done, and there are other things that I could try. But I think getting it out there and doing it myself and learning how to do it and seeing what works and what doesn't was a really good experience.
So who is your target audience? Who would use your planner, and what is it mostly designed for?
Yeah, so for the planner itself, it's geared toward solopreneurs, freelancers, even bloggers, anyone who's managing projects, likes planners, and is doing their marketing themselves. And I say that because a big part of the planner is a marketing tracker that's included with it. So if, there's so many planners on the market. So if you're looking for a planner to track more personal stuff and lots of personal goals and water intake and stuff like that, it's not, those are out there and those are great.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, that's not this planner. So I'm very clear with people, this is a planner for business owners, freelancers, bloggers, people who do their own marketing and are looking for, tools to help them keep up with that. Because I know for me that when I'm working on client projects or even my own internal projects, when I'm busy, the first thing that goes by the wayside is marketing. And then it becomes, okay, what can I do? What do I market? And so I just wanted a handy checklist next to me that I could refer to and fall back on when I need to get my marketing done. So that's where the idea for this particular planner came from.
So it has checklists and
Yeah, so it's got the normal planner stuff, monthly calendar, weekly planning space, and then it has the weekly marketing tracker that has different social media platforms, and then there's space to write in, because as we know, things are changing. A year ago, Blab didn't exist, Periscope didn't exist, so there's write-in space, and then
I hate when there's that icon missing that I use.
Yes.
So why I put them there? Let's fill in the blanks.
Yeah, and then and then at the end of each month, there's monthly tracking space, and place to track to track their marketing stats, to do a monthly review, and then at the end of the year, there's an annual review, and then there are note pages at the back.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I can't wait to get my hands on it. So you're going to have to tell us how we can get it. And I just want to say that at the quarter hour, I'd like to just take a little break and welcome everybody who's joined us. Thank you, Meredith, for being here. Thank you, Coach Jenny, for your comments. And I am so sorry if there is a lag. It's Blab Melissa thing we're trying to work out. I don't know. I've been having this problem for the last few episodes, and they're on it. So all I can do is say, enjoy listening to me.
Yeah, Jenny said your audio is getting a little scratchy, and I'm hearing it getting a little scratchy too.
It is maybe too far back or something. I don't know. There's something weird about my setup tonight. But how does the lighting look?
Your lighting looks amazing.
$40.
Your lighting looks amazing.
$40. So awesome. I'm so excited about the lighting. I've always wanted studio lights, and they just came in the mail today. So since, what we could do, for those of you who are listening or watching on MsMeliz.com, I'm sorry about the lag. Just turn the volume up and go do something, and you can listen to us, because we're going to talk more about the planner and how to get it. And we're going to be talking more about, I'd like to hear more about At the Helm and 18 to 49.
Yeah. And I don't know, people are suggesting that maybe you refresh. I don't know if you are able to or not.
Exactly what I was going to do. So
okay,
what
cool.
I can do is I'm going to make you a co-host. I'm going to go out, and I'll come back in.
All right.
But I've got to I can pause the recording.
Okay.
And we're back. So thanks for hanging in there with us. We're doing some fun technical things, but Alaia and I are perfect. We're having a good time here. So
we are.
Thank you for keeping the room warm. And we were talking about, we're just about to say how you can get your awesome planner, because I want to buy one.
Yes. Well, thank you for having me on your show. I will send you one as a gift. Hey, I'll do it. And I'm excited because I just ordered a bunch of copies of the Amazon version. So I'm like, yeah, who can I send one to?
Okay, cool.
So the best thing to do is go to alaiawilliams.com/planner. I'm going to stick it in the chat here. And it has links to the print version as well as the digital, because it's also available as a digital download. So a lot of people have grabbed that too. Hey, RM, welcome.
Okay.
So people can grab it at alaiawilliams.com/planner. It gives you details, inside look at some of the pages, and more information on how to use the planner.
That's so awesome. Okay, so everybody, don't forget to tell a little bird, and so you can go back and follow Alaia and get her planner, because even if you already have a planner, you've already started using something and you don't like it. So why not try this other one? Because
this is true.
So much better. I've been doing the free downloads of them because I'm cheap, and because I like to kind of modify them. And there was this one really nice, beautiful planner that I clicked on and I downloaded it and I went to go print it. And I thought, wait, before I hit print, I'm going to scroll through the whole thing. It was mostly blank pages. And I just kind of did a few things. Yeah. There's a lot of blank pages in these online planners, and to make it look like it's something big and important. Yeah. It's kind of weird. So yeah, no, I understand. If obviously it's blank, if it has their calendar on it, or schedule, and you're just going to, these were literally notes,
no, unnecessary. Yeah. What I have noticed is, because I sell the print version, like I said, but I also sell digital. So what I've heard from a lot of people that buy the digital version, some will print the whole thing, but some don't want to carry it around. So they'll actually just print off a month worth of pages at a time and just use that, which is kind of nice.
Yeah, that is what I like to do if I'm thinking about it, but I usually just hit print and everything comes out. I'm like, oh, okay, now I got to put it in a binder. So, well, I do want to acknowledge friends that are here live in the chat room, and please let us know if you have any questions. If you're familiar with the process, you just hit the little /Q and then a space and write your question, and it will come in the side, and we will address that in a little while. Very good example there, /Q. And if you have any questions for Alaia. And so I have another question for you. Tell me about this 18 to 49 podcast. I have not been on there, but I'm nervous because I only have a couple of years to go and then I'm out, right? Is that how it works?
Yeah, that's exactly how it works. No.
Sorry, Carolyn.
18 to 49 is it's weird. It's hard to say it's my passion project because I feel like everything I do is my passion project. But 18 to 49 is the passion project that has nothing to do with my business. And, I wanted an outlet to talk about the stuff that I obsess about and that I'm interested in. And it got to a point where I just felt like I was talking about the same stuff constantly on Facebook. And I'm like, none of these people care. I need an outlet to talk about this pop culture stuff and things that I obsess about. And, I came up with an idea for a show, and I originally wanted like a round table of co-hosts, and only one person immediately came to mind, and that was my friend Brandy. And so we started it with the two of us, and we just fell in and had this great rapport. And so it's been almost 2 years, and it's just been us every single week. And we have guests occasionally, and this year we're hoping to bring in some more guests and have more regular faces on the show. But we talk about TV, movies, pop culture news, entertainment news, And it's fun because every once in a while I need a place to geek out about the X-Files or the leftovers or whatever show I'm like watching over and over again on Sunday night. So it's been a really fun show to do for the last 2 years. And this year I'm really hoping to, expand our reach and our visibility. And, because you're here in LA, like Brandy's not here, but there are so many opportunities here and so many cool things that I think that we could leverage with our show here in LA. So I'm hoping to take advantage of more of that this year, but it's a lot of fun. And right now, my friend came over this afternoon, a friend of mine who is also an X-Files obsessed person. And now that the X-Files is coming back this week, we are doing a special series of episodes for 18 to 49 where I'm going to recap all the new episodes. So today what we recorded was today we recorded a breakdown of the first 9 seasons, the themes and everything of the X-Files. And then going forward, we'll talk about all the new ones. And that's just something that's super fun for me because I love the X-Files and I love pop culture. And so 18 to 49 has just been a ton of fun.
And it's a great title. It really can appeal, or you could talk about anything.
Yes, we could.
That's funny. And so what, you said you did it, you've been doing it for about 2 years, and are you on iTunes? Is it audio only or is it video also?
It's audio only. We do video very rarely. Like we did video for the Emmys and some other award show, but we're mostly audio only. But if there's something kind of live that we want to tap into, we'll get on video and do it. I'd love to do more video in the future.
I was on Meerkat for a few minutes before this show, and I hadn't been on it for a while, and I miss it. I love it. I think Meerkat and Periscope is very similar, I know, but Meerkat's my favorite. It's great for when you're on the go. That's what it's built for. I mean, when you're out there and you just want to be live from someplace, and it's so interactive. So, So that, so I think that's fun. But going back to your podcast, so how long is each episode? I'm like really interested in these details.
That's the interesting thing, because I had another podcast before this one. And so for me, in my head, I feel like an hour is good. I feel like over an hour, does anyone care anymore? Is anyone still listening? So usually, we just riff. We go for it. We don't rehearse. We keep it fresh. And I remember in the beginning, she would tell me some of her jokes, and I'm like, don't tell me the joke because I want to laugh for real when I hear it.
Oh yeah. Don't tell ahead of time. So, right.
Yeah. So we just come in and we riff and surprise each other. And it's just a lot of fun. So usually we're right around an hour, give or take a few minutes. And, sometimes there will be something that we have a lot of commentary on, or it's a show that we love and we just keep going and going and going. And, it ends up being like an hour and a half, but I try to keep us from that territory, because an hour and a half is actually really long to just listen to something.
And it's once a week.
It's once a week.
And
Wednesdays.
When do you post?
We record on Mondays and shows come out on Wednesdays. And it's pretty much going to be a double up for the next 6 weeks because of the X-Files episodes I'll be releasing as well. But our new regular shows are out every Wednesday.
That's so cool. I like, this is what I do. It's my passion. I would do it. Without a focus, with a focus, talking to people. But this year, I am really working towards dovetailing my passion. So putting together and overlapping the life coaching and the live streaming and the classes and, my message and my book and my blog. And instead of having them all in different compartments, I'm going to really dovetail and have everything gel together. So I'm really excited about that. And so I would love any advice that you might have. I'm just starting to work on lead pages and kind of getting things in sync. So that's where I'm at. But so tell me about your organizing and your business aspect and your background.
Yeah, I totally understand that challenge, because doing all these things that I do, I have faced similar challenges. And yeah, organization is the key. That's my background and it's the key. And whenever I forget that I know these things, I always like face palm. I'm like, I know better than this. But
That's great.
yeah, I mean, streamlining, I've tried many times to create like one umbrella brand and it doesn't always work out the way I want it to, but I try to streamline things as much as possible because I am a one-woman shop for the most part. You know, I have assistants occasionally, but you know, there's only so many hours in the day. So there's only so much I can do, so much I can market and talk about. So the more streamlined it is, the better. But yes, I am all about the systems, getting the systems in place and
Systems.
automating what can be automated so that you can spend more time doing the stuff that requires you in person. You know, in that sense, the more I automate for my business, the more I can be guests on people's shows and do more episodes of my own show and do the stuff that only I can do or the stuff that I really want to do. So, you know, even I make those strides in my business to continue to organize and add new systems and, you know, not only delegate, but just say that something is not going to happen. You know, I mean, I think there's so much pressure to do everything and keep everything on our plate. And there are just some things we just don't need to do. So sometimes like looking at my list and going, I'm just not going to do that. You know, it's not a later, it's just not going to happen. and letting things go so that there's room for the stuff that I would really like to do.
Mm-hmm. That's really important. And I think that scaling back, I scaled back a little bit on Facebook groups this last few days, you know, just like, why do I feel the need to join all this stuff? I'm never going to have enough time to do it all. And then, you know, I'll do that too, make lists. And then I realized I'm just transferring from list to list and it's not going to happen. So it was a good idea. And what I love about, you know, having my own show and doing my own thing is that I'm the only one who really knows if I don't do it. It's like, it was just put it back in the idea folder, you know.
That's a key thing to remember that you said, and I hope everybody heard that. You were a little scratchy again, but one of the things that Melissa was saying was, you know, when we don't do something, like sometimes we're the only ones that know. And I think that that's important because sometimes I've had the experience, and I know other people have as well, where you may hold on to something because there's a like pride around it or shame about not doing something, when really no one knows you were planning it. No one will know the difference if you let it go. And it's just stuff that's like weighing us down. And that emotional and kind of mental baggage, it really distracts us from the things that we want to do and want to enjoy. And so, you know, I'm not saying that I'm not taking new things on this year. I'm just making smarter decisions about what I want to do, what I want to let go of, where I want to spend more of my time. Because, you know, I really want to have fun with my day and enjoy the people that I'm interacting with and do fun stuff like this. And, you know,
I'm so glad you think it's fun.
I love this stuff.
It is fun.
I love this stuff.
Awesome. It is fun. And I just love listening to you. You've always, ever since I first met you, and I remember the first time I met you, I'm pretty sure it was the first time, you just have a really neat energy.
Oh, thank you.
And I think it was, we went to a shelter downtown. Was it the women's shelter? Is that the first time we met? Or the walk around downtown?
It might have been.
Downtown
yeah, we had a couple of downtown things. And I don't know if you were at the Johnny Rockets one, but we went to like a few different events together. Yeah.
Time. And so it's so neat to meet other people that you met kind of through Facebook or online. And of course, you know, all the Periscopers just at the Periscope Summit, you know, watching them party and everything. It was kind of fun because I think, you know, that's kind of a neat aspect that social media brings about. You know, and you do feel a real closeness with other people. And talk to me about some of that volunteering that you do and that interest that you have that brought you to, you know, like the women's shelter downtown and different things. Are you involved in things like that in LA right now, or are there any projects coming up?
I'm not as active as I used to be, and that's something that I want to change, but I've always had a heart for volunteering in different causes. And for the most part, my interest tends to be or tends to lie with stuff that deals with children and education and stuff like that. And so, you know, in my younger, not that I'm old, but I mean, like when I was in college, like, you know, back then, I started, it was really great because near my college was actually a group home for foster kids. And I didn't know those existed. And so I was actually like a volunteer mentor there, and me and a couple people from my school, we would go over there, and I did the Big Brothers, Big Sisters thing. And, you know, it was a paid thing, but I was also an assistant teacher, and I just really liked working with kids and doing education stuff. And I worked at educational nonprofits, and, you know, that's a lot of what I was doing before I started my business. So it's something that still really has my heart. But, you know, I think like Downtown Women's Shelter here in LA does great things. I'm also really into sort of like peace and social justice type stuff. So I really like, I support the American Friends Service Committee, and they don't really do, they're not really on the ground a lot in LA, but they do a lot in other cities and around the world. So I like to support their efforts. And so I'd like to support kind of those peace and social justice causes. And then when it comes to my time, it's usually around like kids and education and that kind of stuff. I love kids. They're fun. And sometimes it's nice to not be around adults. It's kind of a nice break.
I had a fun meeting today talking about loving kids. I work with middle school students. I work in a campus ministry office by day, and I love it. I have a huge bowl of candy in my office.
Oh, they all love you, I'm sure.
Come in every day. Can I have a piece of candy? Can I have a piece of candy? And I'm like, sure. And if they're by themselves, I say, take 2 or 3. And if it's a bunch, I'm like, take 1. It was really funny. And so I have a great time with that. They usually come in at lunchtime, but today at lunchtime I was so busy, and I was doing a phone call, and I'm like, you know, kids, don't stay in here today. So when they come in, they still come in to get candy. I couldn't say no. So I'm on this phone call and I complain, yeah, sure, you can have some candy. Okay, you're welcome. You know, and it was the funniest thing, but I told them I just couldn't lock up and leave. I love those kids.
I know.
That's how I
know.
my day when they come in and they're getting candy. They're so happy.
It's crazy. I mean, one of the part-time jobs I had right after I started my business was working as an assistant teacher at this like one-room schoolhouse kind of thing, and it was middle school through high school. And, you know, I guess I was pretty close to the kids in age, and I didn't really think about that then. But now that some of those students are like drinking age and we're still in touch because of Facebook, they're like, do you want to go out? Like, let's go out. I'm like, no, I don't want to go out. I want to stay home. And where are you going? And I forget that they're like 21, 22, 23 now. I'm like, oh my God, you're actual adults. This is scary. But I love it. And I love being part of that, you know, those are the things I love about being in this Facebook and technological age that we're in, because there was a huge gap where I didn't see those kids. You know, it's kind of weird. I had nowhere to reach them. I wasn't going to but, you know, years later when they found me on Facebook, and then I'd find, you know, other kids through each other, you know, it was so cool that they remembered me, and, you know, we all still communicate, and it's really cool to kind of have that impact and know that they didn't hate you.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean. Isn't it crazy that time goes by so fast? Because, you know, when you're 16, 17, you're not going to want to hang out with adults, but just like 5 years later to them makes such a big difference. But to us, it goes by pretty fast, or at least to me.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm the same way. I'm starting to be friends with kids that were my children's friends when they were in school, and we had a rule that my kids on Facebook couldn't be friends with anybody who were 18 or over unless they were related by blood.
Yeah.
I couldn't be friends with any of their friends unless they were. So that was the rule. And they had to be friends with me so they could monitor. So whatever. So it's kind of weird. But I mean, you know, they were little boys.
Yeah.
But now that we're all adults, and so I'm starting to accept friendships with friends of theirs that I, you know, kind of have, you know, fondness for in a motherly way.
Yeah.
And they you know, they like to make comments about my Jeep and, you know, about what I'm doing. And, you know, there's a couple of kids that have Jeeps, so they know that I have a Jeep and stuff like that. And it's really cool. I love it. But it's kind of weird when I realize that they're in their 20s now.
And it's weird. It's weird to see how they grow up. and the people they become. And it makes me wonder how much I've changed as well, because I don't feel like I've changed dramatically, but this was almost 10 years ago, because July will be the 10th anniversary of me being an entrepreneur, which is insane. And
awesome.
So now I think I met those kids like this month of 2007. So like 9 years ago. And I'm thinking, how have I changed in 9 years? I've definitely seen how they've changed. So it's crazy. I think when you're on that entrepreneurial ride, how fast things go and how you may not be paying attention all the time. Because I think, wow, they've changed so much. I'm sure I've changed too, but I don't see it because I'm just, I've got my head down and I'm focused on, all these different things, some of which we've talked about tonight. So.
Right. Well, I like to say not so much change. Change is okay.
Oh yeah.
But you've developed, you've blossomed, you've grown, you've learned things, and you've applied the things that you've learned. And that 10 years of anything, 10 years of doing the same thing can really make an impact. I remember for a long time I went from job to job, or at least even in the same company, I would move from a position to position or department to department. And it wasn't until this past job that I had just before this one, I was in the same place for 10 years. And so I used to always say, you need 3 or 4 years in a job to like really do really get it, really make an impact, or be able to be a game changer, and to get the respect and that you deserve, and to just really fit in and it be your thing. And so I had gotten there, past it, and then got to a point where I couldn't stand it anymore. Like I knew everything. And then I got a new position, so which was really nice for me. But looking back on a 10-year stint, it was really crazy. Well, congratulations!
Thank you.
Your tenure.
Thank you. It's insane to think about sometimes. I'm like, really? Wow.
Yeah.
But it's awesome.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Well, we're coming at 7:45, and I just want to say thank you for everybody who came in, and stick with us for another chunk of time. We're going to be here for a little while longer, but I just want to take a moment to thank everybody and say hi to Kevin, who came in. He loves to come in on my shows, but I've locked him out right now because I'm doing an interview with Alaia.
But we see you, Kevin. We see you.
Yeah, we see you, and we're so glad you're here. And if everybody would just tweet, tell a little bird, post something in Facebook, make a note of it, and just connect with Alaia and follow her on Twitter. She also has 2 other Twitters. She was going to say tweeters. You can tweet her at the Helm Women. And 18 to 49, which is her podcast, is Alaia Williams everywhere. And you can also link up with her on my website at mizmaliz.com. And you want to make sure that you check out her planner that she just published on Amazon and get it right away, because you want to get organized, and I'm going to get it. It's going to be awesome. So question for you, Alaia, I'm assuming you use your own planner, and what do you like best about it for yourself?
For myself, I use it in tandem with my online tools. So I like that it's got kind of, I meant to have one like close at hand so I could show it. I don't want to make it sound like it's big open spaces, but it's set up in such a way that you can kind of play with the daily space that you're given. And I like that because all of my appointments are on Google Calendar. So I use this planner less for appointments and more for what is my focus for the day? What are my priorities? What are the big things? And I draw in the boxes and brainstorm in the boxes. So I like that the space is kind of open. And then the other thing, like I said, my other favorite part is just the marketing tracker, because, I definitely have those days where I look at the inbox and I hit refresh, and I'm like, what am I doing? And I'm like, I should market something. And then then you end up just reading everybody else's tweets or spending too much time in a Facebook group. And sometimes it's as simple as there are areas of our lives where we just need people to tell us what to do. That's why we hire, coaches and consultants and all these things. But like sometimes I just need that list to look at and go, okay, there's one concrete thing that I can do to market myself and get myself out there. Or, I haven't been on Periscope in a while and I always get a great response. Like, let me get on Periscope and check that off and do it. So I really like the space to kind of brainstorm and play with my focus and my projects for the day, and then the marketing. So those are the parts I use the most.
And then you're tracking it because you go back and look at it. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So let's switch a little bit and talk to me about At the Helm. Are you still pushing? Okay.
Yeah.
So what is it?
At the Helm is it's going to go through some changes, but it still exists. It's still out there. So At the Helm is really special, and it's great to see what it's become. I started a networking group in 2007. Oh my gosh, it was January 2007. So 9 years ago, started a networking group. And a few years into it, after doing a lot of my own events and going to a lot of events, I was starting to see some things about events geared toward women that I wasn't exactly in love with. And I wanted to provide something different and like a complement or a counterbalance to a lot of those events that were really heavy on the inspiration and motivation, which are important, but there wasn't a lot of concrete talk. And there was a lot of like, I made 6 figures, you can do it too, kind of talk, which is fine. And it's great to be inspired. But, when I walk away, like, what do I have that I can apply and use? And so I created At the Helm as, at that time, a one-off event full of practical information. And originally it wasn't intended to be an event for women, but that's how it developed. And we usually have a male speaker every year, and we usually have at least one man attend. This was actually the first year where we had no male speakers and no male attendees, but every other year we have. And so after the first year, people walked out and, a couple people said, like, I would have paid twice as much for that, or this was really great, or I've never been to anything like this. And so that feedback made me go, okay, I'll do this again next year. So we did it again in 2012. And then after 2012, people started to say, we want to keep in touch, more than just this one time at the conference. And so I started a Facebook group. I did a little mini event tour. So I did events in 4 different cities around the US in 2013. And then at the end of 2013, I launched the At the Helm podcast because I wanted a way to like reach the community now that it was like a nationwide community, and to grow awareness of the brand and kind of bring more people into the family. And, it was interesting because I had that show first before 18 to 49 and went on a hiatus with the At the Helm podcast and never came back, but it will be coming back this year.
Oh, good.
Yeah, it will be coming back this year. I'm thinking of doing it on Blab. This, I think it's good advice for anyone, but, also if you're thinking about organizing and streamlining, I had to think about all the things that I was doing. And when I was on hiatus with that show and thinking of bringing it back, I had to ask myself, what is it really bringing to the table? And I know RM, who's here with us in the chat, she listened to it. She liked the show. I think it was a really good show, but I think in the time that I went on that hiatus, so many business shows came up. And even though I have a distinct personality and way I like to do things, I still wanted to make sure that I was adding value, because I didn't want to just be like another show just to have a show. And because I kind of had not doubts in my mind, but I wasn't certain like which direction I wanted to take, I just kind of let the show lie low. And over the last few weeks and months, I've really been thinking about the format and what I want to do and who I want to share with the audience. And so now that I've got more clarity around that, I'm like ready to bring the show back, and I'm just have to figure out when and how to get it going. But I'm so excited about bringing that back.
Do what you can. I think that's really great. We talked about having so many things that we want to do and try to maybe sometimes put things on the back burner, and that's okay. And it's wonderful. So I'm looking forward to it because I missed it before. So it sounds really great.
We'll be back.
And as long as I'm still the right age, I guess. I like to tease you about that because
we have listeners of all ages on 18 to 49. As long as you have a sense of humor, 18 to 49 is for
It's
you.
like yeah. Okay, there you go. Like my heart is always going to be in my 20s. So, I was a young adult minister for a long time, and I had I used to have to not have to, my job was to do events for people who were 18 to 29. And, I got a lot of flack for that because I was like, and a lot of our friends were, good 10 years older, and they're like, oh, I can't go. So I used to say that too. I said, if you feel like you're, in that age group, and, you're welcome to come. So you never want to exclude people, but you do want, like, I love the 18 to 49 because we are in a demographic-based world here in marketing.
And especially with entertainment. Especially with entertainment.
Yes, and I wish that that the screeners that I fill out for movies and things that I go to had an 18 to 49 category. Unfortunately, I think it's 45 to 59 that I'm in now. And nobody would listen to that podcast.
I would. I think that's one of the things about, me and my co-host that's like a nice contrast, because we're only a year apart in age, but in personality, we're so different. Like, she's like you, like her personality is younger, and I'm like the old lady. I'm like, look, I just want to stay home and not be bothered. And, so I would listen to the 45 to 59 show. No question.
I have to admit that the older I get, the more I like shows like 60 Minutes and 2020.
Those are good shows. They've been on forever for a reason.
I know. It's just the commercials on those shows are a riot. Like, I'm really not at the Metamucil stage yet, I'm just not. So, but anyway, gosh, this has been so much fun.
It has.
I want to ask you a couple of my deep questions, okay? So, what would you say is your core value, and has it changed since you've been an entrepreneur in the 10 years that you've developed and grown to this point, or do you feel like your core is always the same, your main true desires? So
I think that my core value, very clearly as a business owner, is community. And when I look back, and I would have said something different about my younger years, but I think when I look back, it's still very much that. It was just a different way. I wasn't a popular, I wouldn't consider myself a popular kid when I was growing up. Like, I wasn't in the popular crowd, but I was kind of friends with everyone. And so, like, when new kids came in, I didn't want anyone sitting by themselves. Like, I always tried to make people feel included. So I've always been very much like an includer type of person. And that was even me as an introvert, because I'm, in social situations, I'm much more outgoing in business. In social situations, I'm very shy. Like, you have to drag me out of the house to go to like somebody's house party. It's not going to happen. But even in that, I don't know. I like people feeling included. I like that sense of community. And where I grew up in Alhambra, and people may be familiar with that neighborhood who are in Los Angeles. And we had a lot of kids coming in whose parents were from other countries, or they were from other countries, and there are all these different cultures mixing, and people feeling kind of bewildered, deer in headlights with American Los Angeles culture. And, I always felt kind of awful, like when people couldn't, felt like they were on the outside. So I was always a kid that's like, come play Chinese jump rope with us. Let's play handball. I was that kid. You don't always see that. But now that I'm older and I think about the threads of community through my life, it becomes more clear when I look back now.
The threads of community through your life.
And now I can't hear Melissa at all. Nice. I'm back to no audio.
Oh, no.
Melissa, is it just me again?
Can't hear me? Can anybody hear me?
Okay, so you guys can hear Melissa, and I just can't.
All right.
Okay.
I'll be right back. I'm going to pause. Okay, so Alaia, you said the coolest thing about, and I had repeated it, and you didn't hear me. I know, it was about the threads of community through your life, and that was such a beautiful way to describe it, and I really am taken with that. So I hear what you're saying was, that that has always been a core value of including other people and meeting people and bringing them into your fold. And I think that's pretty cool. So what
Thank you.
advice? Well, you're welcome. No, I think that's a really, you're so in touch with who you are and who you've always been. And that's what makes you so special. What advice would you give yourself, your pre-entrepreneur day self, to get you to where you are now or where you'd want to go?
It has nothing to do with community. That's important. I would keep that. But I've been thinking about this because people have been asking me a lot lately for some reason, about how I got started in entrepreneurship. And so if anyone else is watching this that is thinking of making that leap, I would say listen to the advice when people tell you to save and prepare and plan before you jump into it. I think, you're going to make a lot of mistakes no matter what you do, and you're going to fail and go through all these challenges. And that's just part of entrepreneurship. And I think if you can't handle that, right. And if you can't handle that, you can't handle entrepreneurship, because really it's just, even on your good days, it's just so hard. There are easy days, but it's hard work. There's a lot to do. And I think being prepared, having a plan, saving, those are just things that are going to help you cut out some unnecessary stress. And I know for me, I was young, and again, I'm not old, but I was younger then. And, I had worked my way through college, so I had jobs before, I had work experience, but I was young in that I had never I never was in a point of my life where I was just working a job and not in school or anything. And so when my job didn't look appealing and entrepreneurship, things were growing with my business, I just leaped and I left the job and I went, whole hog into entrepreneurship. And I had the teaching gig on the side, the assistant teaching on the side. But I think that I could have been better prepared. And I think that I would have, smoothed out some of the bumps that I would have experienced. Some of it's inevitable, but I would say if to newbies out there, listen to that advice, have a plan, talk to people who've done it before, and just hear real people's experiences and get a variety of experience, and join groups and get involved with communities. I mentioned I run a networking group, and a couple of times I would have college students that when they would want to join would say, I'm in school, I don't have a business yet, can I join? And I'd say, yeah. And that's one of the smartest things you can do. I mean, nobody teaches you about networking in school. Nobody talks to you about making business connections and stuff like that. And so I'm like, yeah, this is the time to do it. Then when you're out of school and ready to launch your business or get a job or whatever, you're already going to have a network of people right there supporting you. So, get involved, get advice, hear people's stories, and get prepared.
It's really great advice. And it's the simple sharpen your saw kind of thing. Take time to prepare. But why don't we do it? Why, especially when we're young? We just want to get the feeling of trying things, I think.
Oh, yeah.
So, I'm trying to instill that in my kids' lives as they're finishing up with college and starting their, big jobs. And I think, I want them to not feel like they have to rush into it, to really kind of do some planning, but they don't have any experience. So inviting them into your group that is amazing. That's wonderful. Thank you so much for doing that. And thank you for sharing all of this with us. I would love to pick your brain more and ask you questions. If anybody has a question, the seat's open. You're welcome to come in and talk to us. Follow Alaia on at Alaia Williams on Twitter and connect with her. She's amazing. And tell me, are you doing any writing or blogging or any events or anything right now?
Yeah, I'm blogging on alaiawilliams.com about business stuff. There's not a ton of blogging that happens with 18 to 49 on a regular basis, but I want to do more of it to, again, get that pop culture energy I have out. Yeah. So there will be some more content there. And in terms of events, I do a marketing mastermind that's starting up next week. So that's coming up. I'm also a local facilitator for Freelancers Union's series of events called Spark, where we get together once a month. It's a free event. And any of you who are watching anywhere, check it out. See if it's in your city. We have a couple meetings in LA. There are
What is it called again? Can you say that again?
Freelancers Union, Spark. It's freelancersunion.org. And they do it in multiple cities. So, I mean, Austin, San Francisco, Chicago, San Diego, they're all over. And so I facilitate one of the 2 meetings that's here in LA. So that's coming up. And, you know, again,
maybe that's where we can meet Coach Jenny.
Oh, yeah. Maybe Coach Jenny will come out to one sometime. And occasionally I plan at the helm brunches. So there will be a brunch in the next couple weeks and stuff like that. So if anybody wants to follow along or hear about any events and stuff, the best thing to do is go to my website. And I have an events page there. And, you know, you can check out the events or you can sign up for my newsletter and I email events out. But yeah, there's plenty of stuff coming. I love having events and meeting up with people. So there's more coming down the pipeline soon.
That's terrific. That's terrific. Well, do you have any questions for me before we?
What's next for you with the Tinsel Town, and whatever you've invested. So I'm like, not that you weren't invested before, but like you're like upgrading. You got all this serious equipment. I'm loving it. I'm like,
thank you.
What's next? Where's it going?
I'm very excited about Tinsel Town tonight. Mm-hmm. I am going to continue doing it every Tuesday night at 7 p.m. It's embedded, so you go straight to MsMeliz.com and watch it there. And I'll be interviewing people every week. I have an announcement that next week, I don't know, well, many in the Blabosphere and Facebook will know Jonathan Tripp. And I had a meeting today with him. He's going to be my guest next Tuesday. Awesome. And then the following week, I'm going to be co-hosting with him on Blab Nation. So I'm really excited about that. Yeah, I'm really excited about that. So that's the kind of thing that I want to do to engage more with the community at Blab and to kind of expand my reach for and get out of my safe zone with my friends coming on, you know, and interview them, but to like try to really get in there and because now I have the exciting announcement to make that I'm an entrepreneur. It's the first time I said it today was when I met with Jonathan. Woo-hoo! That I'm open for business and I've got my class is scheduled through Trainerly. So it goes through Zoom. So I could have up to 100 people in the room. I'm having a monthly mini retreat. It's a 3-hour live session with me once a month. You can get in there and recharge. It's going to be different every month, or just come 1 month and see how you like it. And also I'm doing 2 days a week of a weekly session, which is a 45-minute session, and that's like only $10. Then I know that's like, you know,
what?
It's like,
well, everyone should jump on that, and then after they jump on it, you should raise your prices.
yeah, right. Well, that's like an introductory price, and then I do through Trainerly. I have one-on-one time scheduled too, and so somebody can request those times with me and have a one-on-one session. So that's the only way you can talk to me unless you come on to Blab.
This is so awesome! How exciting!
I'm psyched. And I'm going to be speaking. I think I'm going to be doing a little something at Connect Her this year, and but probably just a round table. But I mean, that I'm really excited about. And I spoke this last year at ENMN, but you were there. Yeah. Yep. And so, wow, that was really weird. It was fun. And I might have missed the deadline, but I think I've been talking to Ann Paris about speaking at BAM, which is
I don't know BAM.
It's for women of midlife. So you probably don't qualify yet, but I do.
I don't in actual years, but in spirit, I very much.
Yeah. Well, it's a great group of bloggers. I'm going to tell you, it's called Women of Midlife, and it started as a Facebook group, and now they have, I think it's Bloggers at Midlife. I don't know what BAM stands for. I can't remember, but they had their first conference last year. It went really well. Awesome. I don't know if you know Ann Paris, but she has a lot of big name sponsors that she writes for, like, Kotex and I don't know, some cars and some big place. And so she got a lot of sponsorships for her conference, and these women just loved it. Now, the neat thing about this over 50 crowd is that these are, okay, do you have to take this the right way? And I just realized I never started recording again. So I'm just going to go ahead and say
Go ahead.
We're not recording. Dang. I don't know where we left off. Oh, well.
It's all right.
No, it has to all be recorded. Okay. So these older gals are really journalists and authors and writers who are now in their retirement doing these amazing blogs. And when they come and they write, they're writing with such experience and wealth of knowledge. And they're in points of their life where it's just like so caring and endearing and open. And it's none of that crap with the, competitiveness. It's really the sharing is they're really reading each other's stuff and they're really helping each other. And there's so much. It's such a difference when I read those blogs, even if they're just writing about the stupidest shit. They make it sound so amazing because they're really experienced writers, and they're so it's a totally different mindset. And I like being the youngest one there.
That's a bonus too. That's so exciting. I'm happy for you. What a big year it's going to be for you.
I know. I want to teach them how to use video. As a lot of them want to, but they're afraid. They come on, and the biggest thing I get with my older friends is that they think that there won't be anybody else their age group here, and there is. There are so many people.
Totally. Oh yeah.
So that's the thing. So I want to say hi to JP. And I'm going to go back to recording, and we're going to just kind of like close it out. So, all right. I'm so bummed. We said all these awesome things. Well, at least Carolyn and Meredith and Coach Jenny are here to
they
hear
heard it.
Oh, duh. We were recording. We were fine.
Well, there you go.
We're back. Yeah, I don't know what I was saying. I was saying pause recording, and in my head it was like recording paused. I don't know. Kind of Little,
and I can't tell on the app, so I'm just rolling with it.
Yeah. All right. We were. Okay, good. So I'll have to edit out the part where I'm going on and on about not recording. I think that the universe is telling me that I need to get going. But I wanted to thank you. Thank you so much. I feel like I know you better. I'm very excited about everything you're doing. Thank you for letting me share what I'm doing.
And I'm so excited that you reached out to me to have me on, because I love what you're up to. I thought it was super exciting when you created this.
You were very supportive.
We got along blab around the same time. And I just loved how you were rocking it out. And you came on one of my blabs and you were helping people who were having tech problems because you were so like blab pro. You're like, do this, do that, it'll fix it. And it's been great to watch this grow. And I'm so excited to hear about everything that's in store for you this year as well.
Thank you. My face hurts from smiling. I'm so happy. So awesome. I appreciate that so much. And I'm looking forward to, seeing what you do next and support you in any way I can. Because I want to thank you for making my life sparkle. You're a wonderful star, and I'm just thrilled to know you. And you're a really good person. And that's what makes you a superstar, total rock star. Yay,
thank you.
Alaia. Okay, everybody. Thank you so much. I'm gonna play the outgoing music here, and we'll dance a little bit. How's that sound? Here it goes.
Oh, I like that.
My husband did this for me. All right.
You got the hookup on the best music.
Thank you. Thank you so much, everybody, for being here. Thank you, JP, for popping in. And thank you, Carolyn and Coach Jenny and Meredith and Kevin and everybody else. But most of all, thank you, Alaia. I really appreciate you being here. I hope you've had a good time. I did.
Thanks. I had a lot of fun.
Thank you. See us next week, Tuesday night. Tinsel Town tonight with Ms. Meliz. I'm going to have Jonathan Tripp. That's going to be awesome.
I'll see you later.
All right. Good night. Thank you. Good night, everybody.